Hello, and welcome to the Crunch Run, where, you know what, discussion is okay. We cover what's going on in the world of fandom, and at the end of it, we may disagree, but we all like each other.
Yeah,
I'm your host, Ewen Patterson, and joining me today, as always, is Dan, the Dark Lord of all boil, Poop, and Sam, the Sound Wizard Glover.
I like Sound Wizard. That's fair. Sound Wizard is
Sound Wizard.
Because I realised we had a lot of lords, but no wizards.
I'm a Sound Wizard. That's how it works.
You're a Sound Wizard.
Because it means like hippity hop sound.
Yeah, you know.
Welcome to 2018, folks.
You're not working class, not by any stretch of the means. Sam.
I don't think any of us are that working class.
No,
middle working class.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to try just focusing on three topics, so we can ramble a bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
Because I think so. Let's start things off. Star Wars: The Last Jedi has released and worldwide, and it's just over a month now, so I think we can start talking about it without getting too angry.
We can probably do a few spoilers as well. If you haven't seen it, it's your own fault.
We will do a spoiler review afterwards, but that's later. Now that everything's down, we can talk a bit more freely. It's easy to say that the film is divisive, with some people liking it and the other hating it to the point that they are going on Rotten Tomatoes and downvoting it to get people not to go.
I genuinely don't know why.
Dan, is this reaction warranted? You're not a very big Star Wars fan.
I'm not a Star Wars fan, but no way is this reaction warranted to the film. Like, I've seen a petition online to get it removed from canon and that sort of thing. It doesn't deserve that. It's not the best Star Wars movie in the world, but it's certainly not the worst.
Yeah.
You know, it has things that make it Star Wars. I don't see why people are so up in arms about it. I have my issues with it, but I don't think it's bad.
Also, to keep continuity, like previously on the fan base, people complained about The Force Awakens for being too similar to the franchise.
Yeah, now this one's far too different.
I've literally had this conversation with one of my friends.
Yeah.
He came out of The Force Awakens saying, well, it's just a rehash of Episode 4.
Yeah. And
then he came out of this one and he goes, it's not similar enough to Star Wars. And I go, you realise how stupid you sound right now, right? Yeah. You cannot have it both ways. Now, to the people out there, I know you probably don't listen to this show, but to the people that are downvoting Star Wars because you didn't like it, I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm going to use bad language on this show. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, no, I'll agree
You're
with
a
that.
shithole. Sorry, I needed to keep it modern.
There we go.
You might think you're saving the franchise and that you're doing this amazing thing for Star Wars. No, you're just an asshole on the end of a computer. It's the same people that upvoted Inception to be the number one IMDb movie of all time.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, why is Inception
Because the Christopher Nolan fanboys just clacked at it on...
Right, I like Christopher Nolan, but Inception is... No, anyway, that's a different topic.
But that's a different topic.
I do admire the fact that the fan base is so passionate and they will go around to doing absolutely anything to get their vision seen. I admire that, but I think they're firing it in the wrong direction.
Well, I just think they need a vision to be seen in the first place instead of just moaning about the one they've been getting.
I suggest that they fire all their energy at their MPs and at Congress to try and return the copyright laws and back to one of the original versions it was in, so that certain intellectual properties will then be royalty free and people can write their own versions. That is what this fan base needs. That is what this fan base is missing. Not what's canon and what's not, but people giving the permission to write what they want.
My thing with it, I congratulate Rian Johnson for quite a lot of what he did, actually. He took... Because it could have been very easy for him, and people were going into this film thinking, it's going to be Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. We all know it's going to be Empire Strikes Back. I don't feel I got homages to Empire Strikes Back, but I don't think it was a retread of Empire Strikes Back. He took everything that you thought was going to happen, and you kind of went... Screw it, I'm putting it over here, I'm taking it in a new direction.
I admire him because he did what he wanted to do with it rather than... Well, it does feel like he did what he wanted to do rather than what a studio told him to do.
Yeah.
Which I respect him for. I still don't think he did the best job in the world, but
Yeah, that's for another thing.
Yeah.
But the theme of the Last Jedi is very in keeping with the it's pretty much an homage to the feeling and the theme of Empire Strikes Back, rather than a beat for beat. J.J. Abrams, I'm just going to copy every frame like Zack Snyder does with every film.
The thing is, also, people are saying, well, it's not what George Lucas wanted. He didn't want it like this. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I love George. But if you ever read any of the stuff that he's talked about, he really loves the out there ideas of Star Wars. There's this run in the Clone Wars where he was in the TV series where he's heavily involved in it. And there are living manifestations of the dark side of the Force, the light side of the Force, and the in-between. And that was George Lucas's idea of the Force. So to say to anybody that this isn't what George wanted, I'm sorry.
I also find it
George is really into
that people scream about the fact that this isn't what George wanted, and yet what George wanted was the prequel trilogy, and everybody hated that. So why listen to a man that, all right, he got it right the first 3 times, but then after that,
technically Star Wars as the original film isn't the film George Lucas wanted. George Lucas constantly has changed his products because it's not George Lucas that makes Star Wars great. It's the people he brings on board to the project. It's his editor. It's his co-writer. It's his co-producer.
Yeah, when you do give him free reign, then you get the Phantom Menace.
Yes.
So the thing is, George is a fantastic world builder.
He's a good ideas man.
You can never fault him for that. Yeah, and he's the guy that gave us Star Wars. So he's always going to be...
He is a great businessman and a great ideas man.
Yeah.
He is... Everyone should try and copy him to create their projects. How do I create what he's done in my thing? And he invented merchandising in the way it is today. Not saying that merchandising didn't exist before him, but he managed to turn what was considered a dead-end business of toys, of films, and turn that into what made Star Wars profitable.
Yeah. He's also the godfather of modern blockbuster making.
Yeah.
Filmmaking in general.
But saying that...
Arguably.
Arguably. He's in there.
I won't bring it up now, but I could argue with the...
Yeah.
But he does his actual content creation side of things is to be desired.
Yeah.
He's good at sending a script to someone going, what do you think? It needs a redraft. All right, I'll go back and redraft it. But when he's given the moment of, what do you think? Good, I'm going to print it. Oh, it needs a redraft. No, I'm just going to do it.
The thing is, also, people are saying this isn't what he wanted originally with Episode 7. He wanted quite a lot of what we got in Force Awakens. JJ and Kathleen Kennedy and Lawrence Kasdan just kind of took it a bit further. He wanted the main character to be a girl, 9-year-old girl called Kiri. And he wanted a smuggler who was about 12.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't want Force babies. I want people that are... The thing is, when I was a kid, looking up at Luke Skywalker, I wanted to be like Luke. Because he was older and he had all this potential. That is why kids like watching things about people who are just older than them, like Spider-Man. It's why they like them. And then when you get older, you start liking Batman and Han Solo.
Yeah.
If you're having a kid there, that's why someone like Billy Batson, Shazam, works really well. Because it's a kid that becomes a superhero. It's the fantasy that every little kid wants.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the superhero. They want to have the ability to become like...
Yeah.
But what this film sells, I think this is one of the reasons why I think the audience didn't like it in a traditional sense, is because this is one of the few kids films that turns around and says, you are not special.
Yeah.
That is, to the borderline, is to kind of say, I know who your parents are. They're no one. They're no one important. And that's, to an audience that's used to Disney saying, everyone's special in every special way. That's quite a kick in the crotch to every child that's ever watched a film.
Let's move on because we've got a whole other review that we can do on that one.
Yeah.
So let's move on. There's another thing that dropped the same week The Last Jedi launched. We learned that Disney is now in the process of acquiring 21st Century Fox for $40 billion. That means Marvel now gets the X-Men, that Lucasfilm gets the original cut of A New Hope, that Disney gets the rights to my favorite subject, Avatar, and a whole catalogue of other films. Sam, are you happy about the potential merger?
Yes, because Springfield will be in Disneyland, and I think it'll be hilarious to see actors have to yellow up every day. That is genuinely going to be the best part of this.
You could do it in a non-racist way as well.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing. You could actually walk around like you have jaundice.
Like and I think it's like this is the one thing I think no one's thought of. Like Springfield will inevitably be created.
Yeah, no, they will build a little Springfield, won't they?
My question is, how do they do a poo? Because he's not very a modern interpretation of that kind of character. He's quite insensitive to today's audience.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I feel like that's our poo.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking at it in terms of The Simpsons, we've sort of all grown up just accepting that is just...
They are covering that as well. There was a controversy about a poo.
Yeah.
And they're covering that in a future episode.
Yeah, but I do feel like, just to touch on it briefly right now, he's not as... Well, I guess he started off more as a stereotype, but now he's just the character. That's just who he is now, if that makes sense, rather than him representing an entire culture. Yeah. It's just one man.
I suppose the main problem is it's a beloved character that everyone thinks is a cultural character done by a white guy. Yeah. And it's that kind of same thing with Cleveland from the Family Guy. It's an ethnic character done by a white guy. But moving back to Disney.
Yeah, let's move back to this merger.
I'm genuinely excited because Doctor Doom can finally be a proper thing.
Yeah, we can have a decent Doctor Doom. That'll be a first.
Yes, right. And the fact I can imagine in Infinity War there'll be a newspaper somewhere saying that Sokovia has been taken over by Latveria or something like that. Latveria will inevitably be announced alongside all sorts of fantastic things. Marvel is going to be finally the version I want. I get to see the Illuminati as a thing, excluding Black Bolt because they really screwed that up. But that's their own fault. That's going to be exciting.
I don't feel like it's something we should be excited about, though.
The fact that we're finally getting Marvel.
I think Marvel putting those elements of Marvel into the MCU, I think should happen. I'm not a fan of the MCU, but I do feel like it needs to have the X-Men and the Fantastic Four sort of injected into it. But I don't feel like Fox being bought by Disney is a good thing by any stretch of the imagination.
When you examine the other assets that are coming on board with it, yes, I agree with you.
It's not just that. I mean, that means everything is going to be owned by Disney. Name one franchise that now isn't Disney.
Good point.
Harry Potter.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, all right.
The other one.
But that's like the last one, probably.
Well, there's all the stuff at
Lord of the Rings
as well.
Yeah, but how long?
Like Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of them. I'm in two camps about it, honestly. I'm excited like you are for the Marvel stuff. I'm a bit worried that they're going to have a monopoly. And that is a bit of a worry when it comes to creativity. Yeah. If you're constantly trying to
compete against Disney.
Who've got bucket loads of money. I'm worried that it will ruin competition. This is by no means a solid deal as well. Yeah. Remember, it's got 18 months. Well, 17 months now to get through the American Congress. And if at any point they say, no, it's a bad idea, it's going to ruin competition, they will stop it.
They won't. I think hands on the table, money on the table. I think what will inevitably happen is this process will go through. They will acknowledge that they have too many things, so they are forced to sell assets. What they inevitably will sell is all the stuff that they didn't want. So, and basically, this deal they've been trying to do with Fox all along to get Marvel and Star Wars, the original one, all of these small little pockets of assets they actually wanted, they'll keep. And then other elements like Fox Searchlight properties and potentially all of the Family Guy-esque cartoons and things like that.
The thing is, I think they're going to want to keep that because remember, Disney announced that they're doing a streaming service. There's only so much you can put on your streaming service of Disney stuff before people will get sick of it. That is why they bought Fox.
That's why I think they want to keep The Simpsons. Maybe
they'll keep The Simpsons, they'll keep Family Guy, they'll keep stuff like MASH. They've got that literally hundreds of years of catalogue that Fox have got. They might sell off like the intellectual property like Alien and Predator, but they'll work it out so that they end up on their streaming site.
Yeah.
It's like a license that they'll probably give out to other studios.
But I think what the major worry we have, worry we have now is who do they sell that to? Because do they potentially sell all the assets that are not very Disney off to Warner Brothers? Do they just sell them off to, or do they sell them to smaller companies? So it's...
Well, I think your big players at the moment, you've got Paramount, who's still a big player in Hollywood. You've got Universal. You've got Netflix are probably going to want to buy stuff. Apple now are looking at creating their own streaming service as well.
Apple were thinking of buying Disney. That was a frightening one.
They were thinking of buying Netflix as well.
Oh, God.
That was a couple of weeks ago. So, and you've got Warner Brothers as well. You've got those big five, and then obviously you've got stuff like Amazon as well, and Hulu.
Yeah.
These are all places that they can probably sell some of their assets off to, some of the ones that they don't really want.
I always forget Hulu's a thing.
Yeah, it's more of a thing in the States than it is in here.
Yeah.
I want to watch South Park, but I physically can't because Hulu has got it, and I have no way of actually accessing Hulu that I know of. I've tried. Even if either their marketing sucks or
I don't know.
just
I've
can't
only ever seen
completely-
clips on Hulu online, but I've never actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got all of these places that they can go and take their stuff to. So
I'm just worried because I feel like Disney is a very corporate company who will look at something and they will sit there with a giant clipboard and a whiteboard and tell people what needs to be in the movie. And I'm worried that it is going to ruin creativity. I really do worry about that, because that's partly why I don't like Disney in the first place. They ruin a lot of things they touch.
What would you say is a good example of that, then?
John Carter.
Yeah.
The thing is, they have come out and said Bob Iger has come out and said Deadpool will keep its R-rated when it comes over to us.
Yeah.
So it will still be R-rated. But the thing is, it's not going to be like where on Deadpool 1, Deadpool was constantly making fun of 20th Century Fox and they kind of took it on the chin. You do that to Disney,
Disney.
the mouse will burn you.
Yeah, they won't appreciate
Although
it.
Enchanted was making fun of the formula.
It was making fun of the formula rather than the company, though.
Yeah.
I reckon
It's not like saying, "Oh, look it! I wonder if there's a mouse about" or something like that. It's
like
what joke would you say is specifically "screw you, Fox" in Deadpool?
Oh, it's almost like as if they couldn't afford anyone else.
Yeah.
That's more making
Only
fun of
two
the company.
Yeah,
That's more making fun of the production company
Yeah,
than
but
Fox.
I feel like if you do that in a Disney film, Disney wouldn't allow that in the final edit.
But if you say that they're going to keep a Family Guy,
but I don't think
they're the ones that will kind of clearly have more of a trying to stick it to the man attitude. They're the
but Family Guy hasn't been funny for like years.
When this deal went out, I was desperately searching through the internet to try and find a GIF of Bart Simpson from the Simpsons movie hanging off the train with bra on his head, going, "I'm the mascot of an evil corporation." Huh?
Yeah.
I couldn't find it, annoyingly. But that's.
I wonder why Disney.
So I think we're all fairly
So watch the, it's definitely a watch this space kind of moment. They are going to inevitably have to sell stuff.
I feel like the verdict is we're hesitant, but could be potentially good. But
It's
let's not get out.
the key assets that they already owned makes sense for them to keep all that. I'm happy with that because it also means that we can get re-releases of Star Wars, that the original one, the actual theatrical cut, because they now have the rights to distribute them.
I'm dubious about that. I honestly don't think people have built up the original cut of Star Wars as it's like the Holy Grail, and I'm like,
No, it's not the definition that I'm concerned about. Like George Lucas in the original cut was kind of like sat down with the editor and the editor went, "This is too long. Here are the scenes we need to
like
remove."
the ones that they're talking about are the ones that was released in theater.
Yeah,
so
that was a good cut. And then George Lucas went back and added all the bits in that the editors cut out, which makes it a worse film. People today wanting to watch why do people love Star Wars can't see the film because it's been deleted, it's been removed. You have to have fans re-edit a film to kind of...
My problem with that is I think people have built it up so much that they're never going to be happy with it. They're going to be like, oh, it's not as good as I remember.
I feel like the thing we can take away from The Last Jedi is Star Wars fans are never going to be happy with anything in the Star Wars universe.
That's the problem. Let's move on because we're running out of time. Speaking of Disney and Marvel, a certain independent picture is coming out this year. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Avengers Infinity War.
I'm sorry.
Avengers
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Have you heard
and it's
of this,
set to
Sam?
be the culmination of a 10-year journey. I'm going to start with you, Sam, because you're very excited.
Yeah!
Do you think it will beat The Force Awakens 100 million opening weekend?
Mathematically, it will. Because this has got the same hype as Avengers did. This has got the same hype because it's got this essence of history about the hype. Mm-hmm. The one thing Marvel managed to bottle to make it successful that no one else has competed with is making a historical moment from film. Mm-hmm. And the idea of they've built up a plot line since day one. Yeah, and it's grown to this monstrosity, which is brilliant.
I do agree that this is... I reckon it probably can beat Star Wars in its opening for its opening weekend. I reckon it could beat it in general because... this is what it's all come down to. Infinity War is what the past... how many years has it been now?
10 years. It'll be 10 years to the...
2008 is when the first...
Yeah, so it is what...
Right, here's the big question
10 years has come up to.
Do you think it will beat Avatar and Titanic, which currently sit at about 2 billion worldwide?
2 billion, that's not just the box office revenue, though.
That's worldwide.
Yeah, that's like ongoing ticket sales and DVDs.
Force Awakens was the closest to get to it. Built 1 billion domestic in the States, and it's like third all time. Do you think it'll get into that third spot, or do you think it will beat any of those?
With a bit of luck, it should hopefully beat Titanic.
The fact that it's got so many characters in, this is the only universe that's managed to successfully keep going. There's nothing's stopped it. I reckon it will. I reckon it will get to number 2 because it will knock James Cameron down a notch. But I don't think, annoyingly, I think Titanic hits a demographic.
Well, Titanic's number 2 now. It's Avatar that's number 1.
We can knock that one out of the park. Come on. Yeah. It's like, that was because, again, the only reason why that they're both there is because James Cameron tapped into that same iconic film history feeling. That's what he's good at. Problem is, he now can't tap into that because he can't figure out how technology can define the genre again.
I've got a whole bunch of thoughts about that stupid Alita battle engine thing. I could literally rant about that for about 5 hours. To Avengers.
All it will take is a death from a character. I think Tony Stark's probably going to die.
I think we're going to get probably about one big death in the first half an hour. My bet is probably going to be Thor.
There's a chance that there's going to be quite a lot of deaths.
I think Thor's going to die in the first half hour because you haven't seen a lot of him on Earth.
But here's a spoiler I potentially have found out, which is amazing. They're going to time travel.
Yeah,
they're going to time travel. Not just like random time travel. There's been footage of Captain America in what looks like a New York set, wearing the Avengers outfit, and it just the fact they're going back to these iconic moments from cinema history, and it's weird that it's Iron Man and Tony Stark that are going back in time.
It's not that weird though, because it's. Let's not forget, Robert Downey Jr. is the bedrock of this.
Oh yeah, him traveling makes sense because him being able to go back and see his original self is a really cool.
And he's
thing,
the one that quite a lot of people want to. He's the one that started with this all. He's the greatest villain in the MCU.
Tony Stark.
No, you think I'm joking? He legitimately is. Think about it.
He is.
He created the suit that Ironmonger wore. Because Iron Man was around, Whiplash was therefore created, and all of the stuff that happened in Iron Man 2. Because he was making a big deal about himself, the Avengers kind of happened as well. Yeah. Admittedly, he was all right in it, but some of his decisions led to wider repercussions.
Yeah.
Ultron. Iron Man 3, he was a dick in the past. Now he's and that's coming up back to haunt him.
Technically, it's technically the whole of the Marvel universe is Howard Stark's fault, not Tony's. Because if you're going back to who is the real...
Howard made Tony.
Howard made Tony. Howard also was the one that made the deal with the Hydra agent that built all the tech. He was one of the people...
Toby Jones.
That's the actor, isn't it?
Yeah, I only know his actor's name, I'm afraid.
TV guy.
I know what he's called. Come back to me in a bit.
Yeah, but he was the one that made the deal to keep him on board with Hydra that he was building, and not Hydra from Hydra building Shield, thus starting the whole second wave of Hydra rubbish. Yeah. He's also he made Tony. He also made a partnership with Obadiah Stane. So the continuation of all this corruption happened. His lifestyle was picked up on Tony. So that meant that Tony is now this womanizer that created things like AIM, and also it's Howard Stark's fault, not Tony's.
Arnim Zola. That's who.
Yes.
That's who Toby Jones is.
So he also created a Captain America, which he also, it's everything traces back to Howard Stark. It's crazy.
I feel like my prediction though for Infinity War, going actually back to Infinity War, I think it's quite interesting because who did you say? You think Iron Man's going to die?
Tony Stark.
You think Thor's going to die? I think it's going to be Captain America.
See, the thing is, I used to be on the Cap train, but I think they're gonna need one of the original guard in there.
Yeah, but let's look at
what the other people. Robert Downey Jr. God bless him. He's getting older, and I think it'll be a very good end for that character to die in Infinity War. Thor, Chris Hemsworth has loads of other stuff going on. I mean, he loves the character, but I think his kind of story arc is over. I think Captain America is the perfect one to stay alive, because imagine the journey that can then take him on further. He's watched two of his best mates. Well, he's lived through World War II, lived through World War II, was frozen, got brought back. Two of the people that he considers
frozen today.
Yes, he comes back. Has all of this stuff happen to him, just learns where his place is with Thor and Tony Stark. That's why Avengers Age of Ultron, when he's leaving them, they're leaving, is so powerful, because it's the three of them.
I think time travel is going to be involved. If time travel is involved, that means a lot more characters are going to die than we expect. So there's going to be, I think all the characters we've mentioned are going to have a fake death. The reason I think Tony is going to be the actual one that dies is because they're going to replicate a scene from the Civil War comic, or like in the events. I think it's in the aftermath of Civil War, where Captain America gets shot and dies. Something like that, a kind of event might happen. It probably won't be as subtle as a kind of assassination going to a courtroom. It's probably going to be some sort of Thanos-like event, and he's going to be sitting there going, why wasn't I there to save you? Why did I have to fall out with you? So he goes back in time, and when he meets him back in time, he can get really emotional, really choked up, because his version of him is dead, and he has to try and avoid talking to Captain America and saying that kind of, the whole kind of the Doc and Marty moment, where it's kind of like, on this night you're going to get killed by some terrorists,
Yeah, my prediction is the thing that we see in Age of Ultron, where all the heroes are dead and Tony's the only one left. I think that will come to pass.
Yeah.
I think that will be the end of Infinity War Part 1. And then
Secret War.
Then he goes back in time at the start of the next one, and that's how we get Captain Marvel back in. Because Captain Marvel hasn't been mentioned at all. Yet. So she comes back because she's confirmed to be Infinity War Part 2 or Avengers 4.
Secret War.
And she has her own film coming out in the interim. So they'll do some kind of gobbledygook that allows her to come back.
It's going to be Secret War.
Yeah.
They have not, or it's either Secret War or Secret Invasion. They're the two options. It's going to be a secret, whatever it is. It's because they've not, it's not technically Infinity War Part 2 anymore. They've said they can't announce the title till Infinity War's happened, because it's a big, massive spoiler.
Well, apparently, a while back, Zoe Saldana kind of dropped a hint, didn't she? She said they're going back for Infinity Gauntlet. as part 4.
But that's
Let's wrap it up. So, give me each a prediction and what you want in Avengers 4. So let's start with you, Dan.
No, start with Sam.
I think the most likely outcome is Secret Invasion, because they'll have set up that the Skrulls exist. So that means there are Skrulls hiding within the Marvel universe. So some of the most iconic ones are going to turn out to be something like Rhodey, for example, is going to be a Skrull, which is easily explainable why they changed character, actor, and all sorts. That is what I think is going to happen, because I don't think they're ready for Secret Wars yet.
Yeah.
Because they need Doom. So I think the current version of Secret Wars is much more fun.
Okay.
I feel like, going back to me, I've had a chance to think now. My prediction probably is more along the lines of we're going to lose all the characters that we've come to know and love so far in the past 10 years. We're going to... Either they're going to die or their stories are going to finish and they're going to pass on the mantle to somebody else. And I feel like we're going to finally watch the official death of the MCU. Okay. Because I honestly don't think anybody will care after this. I feel like after Infinity War Part 2, whatever it's going to be called, I feel like the films after that, people are just going to be like, well, I've seen it now. I've seen the story.
Okay.
But,
like the end of time in Doctor Who, where David Tennant dies and everyone's like, oh, good. No, I don't have to care anymore.
Yeah, and then people can just stop watching.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, I'm kind of like you. I think people are going to die. I just want it to be fun. I think I'll probably cry mantis at the end of it because I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's where we'll leave it today.
But as a kind of potential bonus prediction, the reason why this whole Disney deal with Fox might have happened is because, like, traditionally, the reason why they got the deal with Spider-Man is because the Russo brothers turned around and went, we need Spider-Man in this story. Can't you write him out? No, he's important to the story. We can't do this without Spider-Man. Ugh, fine, Sony deal.
If you actually look at Captain America Civil War, though, he wasn't that important to the film.
No, that's the biggest joke in the world. But I think there's a chance that the Russo brothers may have turned around and gone, yeah, Part 2's going to have Galactus in it. Can't you write him out? No, he needs to be in it. Galactus is in it.
If Galactus isn't in Part 2, he's going to have to be the next big bad guy in the MCU, so, without a doubt.
There is a bonus prediction for me that because I think there was two versions, two schemes. One was Secret Invasion, still needs Skrulls, still kind of needs this, they still need this Fox deal to go through to make that work. But I think one of the other options is at the end of Infinity War when they're like, everything's fine. They're going to turn around, there's going to be a man on a silver surfboard and he's going to be like, sup, yeah, you're all fucked. And then that is going to be potentially the end.
Remember,
spoiler.
About 6 shows ago, I made a prediction.
That I would swear.
No,
okay.
That we would have a Fantastic Four. Phase 4 would be Fantastic Four. I'm calling it now. I called it.
Yeah,
I did it.
He did. He managed.
You did say that, to be fair.
Doctor Doom.
I said within a year as well. That's the important bit as well.
A good comic to read, which I reckon they might bring in. If they're not going to do Fantastic Four film, they might bring this one in instead, Doom War. It is such a lovely story because it's about how Doctor Doom besieges Wakanda to steal all of their vibranium so he can create a massive robot army to invade the world.
Dan's got a funny little smile on his face.
Sounds absolutely lovely, doesn't it? Like daisies and flowers.
No, but the best,
so tranquil.
But the best part is because he goes in and he knows all of the defenses. He's researched this, he's planned it. And so he goes, one of the defenses to get the vibranium is you have to kind of talk to the god Bast. And you have to, this ancient Egyptian god. And you have to... Bast, no, just Bast. Bast. Oh. Look it up. And he has to kind of explain why he wants it. And what he does is he strips naked, mask off, and he turns around and goes, I've looked into every possible outcome of this universe, and the only one where it exists is where I've got total domination. Look me in the eye, look into the future, and tell me I'm wrong. Bast kind of just goes, you got a point. So this is what the god's on his side, and it's just so cool. It's even got Deadpool in it to kind of. It's got Deadpool. It's got Xavier. Everyone gets involved. It's literally it's a Fox product. They could have done. Ish.
Well, they
without Wakanda kind of does make no sense, but it's something.
Right. So on that note, let's leave it today. So that's a bye from Dan.
Poop.
And a bye from Sam.
We.
And a bye from me. So, bye.
Oh, I thought he was going to go for the other one.
No, I thought I was hoping to go fart.
Yeah.
I'm a classy gentleman.